So today's video is going to be about bleeding the fuel system on a diesel Fordson Major, or priming the system. Very relevant for me at the moment because I had a failure of an O-ring in the fuel tap. I've got another video about that, which caused air to leak into the line under load, and too much air in the fuel bowl means you're going to have problems with your tractor. And a lot of the fault finding on the diesel Major is relating to the fuel line and air in the fuel line. As you can see, we do have a little bit of air in the fuel bowl here. There's the line there. And if too much air is fed in from the intake there, this line of air or trapped air works its way down till it gets level with the filter and the intake, or just above it, and as you move over rough terrain, slops around and more air gets sucked up and you start having problems with your tractor, power problems, you know, you'll hear it. So we're going to talk about how you bleed the fuel system and get rid of air in the line on your Fordson Major. So for Australian, South African or other Fordsons that have the additional fuel filter on, there are a few extra steps, but we'll go through it. So the fuel lift pump is driven by a rocker arm that's attached to the bottom of the fuel pump, and runs on an eccentric that's on the camshaft, so as the camshaft's turning. So if you go to push your fuel pump lever here to manually flow the diesel through to push the air out, and it's loose and you're not getting any flow, hit the starter motor, it'll turn the camshaft around, and that rocker arm will get in a better position where it's not being depressed already, and you'll get a better uptake on your manual lever here, and you'll start to see the diesel flow through. So if you're pressing the lever and you're still seeing air coming in through this little inlet here, it's demonstrating that you've got the problem between the fuel tank and the lift pump. Fix that first, and then we can look at pushing the fuel and pushing the air out of the rest of the system. So from there, it's following the fuel lines between the fuel lift pump and the Sims injector pump. So what you'll do is you'll follow the fuel line up to this additional fuel filter found on Australian Fordsons. You'll undo this little bolt here, and you'll pump the fuel lift pump until diesel is coming out with no air bubbles, which means you've worked all the way out. I then like to hold the fuel lift pump lever in the up position, screw that on, and in the last little few screws, slowly let the lever down, which pushes air in, so there's a flow of diesel coming out as I'm doing the final tighten to make sure no diesel gets trapped in there. From there, we follow down to the next one, where we've got two, left and a right. Again, we're following the diesel through the system, so we take them both off. Do the left one first, same trick. Put that back on when there's no more bubbles in the diesel. Do the right one. So once you've followed your line all the way to the fuel injector, we're up to our last little bolt plug to open and bleed the system of air. It's this one here. Now I have loosened it. Now if you have had the tractor recently running and nothing else is opened, there will be a little bit of pressurized diesel behind this. Not a huge amount, but it will squirt out and probably get your boots. So have the rag ready. So undo that. There we go. Now I'll give the lift pump a couple little squeezes. If you do it slow, you'll be able to see if, now I'm happy that that's got no bubbles in it. Now that's slowly releasing the lever, so that's when the diesel's flowing. So lift the lever up, put it in. When I get to about this point, slowly like to release it, get the diesel flowing out, and then cap it off. So if you've got no more bubbles coming out of your fuel by this point, we can say that it's been bled of air. Now, should crank up relatively easy, you'll get good performance, you won't have any of those problems associated with air in the system. So if we go back here, we might be able to see the diesel flowing through as I start it. Hopefully it starts quite nicely. It has been run for a little bit. There we go. Very nice. Good result. System's bled. Sounding very good. Hopefully that helps. Until the next one.